Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest GFS, GM, ECMWF, GFS ensembles, and then we'll have a look at various precipitation charts and the live radar, so we do have a few isolated thunderstorms around. Do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, link is in the description. Unfortunately, I was unable to make a video yesterday as I've been feeling a little bit ill, tested negative for COVID, so it's all good, but I should be getting back to more regular videos now. But that's good in time for some very fine weather that we're going to be seeing over the next week or so. Today, again, has been a fairly pleasant day quite widely, getting up into around 20, 21, 22 degrees, feeling quite warm. There have been a few thunderstorms around. We'll look at the radar at the end of the video, but they have been very isolated, as there is quite weak instability. You can see we are under quite a big area of high pressure, and there is moderate upper level instability, which is meant that a few thunderstorms have been able to get going, but nothing too widespread. So if we run through the GFS, you can see high pressure really is towards the north and the east of the country. Low pressure is trying to push in from the west, and there's always the potential it could bring the weather front close to Western Ireland, northern Scotland, maybe even into parts of Wales and the southwest as well. We did see a bit of rain in the southwest early this morning as a result of a little system trying to push in. But it never really makes too much of an inroad. And you can see high pressure maintains its strength over Europe. And we continue having quite warm upper air conditions. If you have a look, nothing brutally hot or very warm, but generally just quite pleasant, giving temperatures quite widely into the low 20s, and there's a few localised spots could get up to maybe 24, 25 degrees. Beyond that, that low really tries to push in, but as it does that, it squeezes the isobars, moving to our north, bringing up some very warm air in time for sort of Thursday and Friday, getting that 10-degree isotherm through quite widely through the country. Unfortunately, it might allow some rain to push into northern Scotland. You can see it's closer to that area of low pressure, but again, it will be really dependent on where the position of those weather fronts are, as it does get blocked away by the low. Again, another low tries to push in, and a very similar sort of scenario happens where we do start to pull up some very warm air from the south, and we could see temperatures peaking in England at least, where we do maintain that very warm air for a good 3 or 4 days, around Friday, Saturday. As Sunday, we do a very warm air come up, probably going to give quite a pleasant day on Sunday, before the low does sweep through with its weather fronts. Now, the main low stays to our north and does sort of fill in and reduces its intensity, but you can see colder air from the back edge is going to push in, and is probably going to bring some cooler conditions, some cloud and some rain, especially to further to western areas. But you can see that high's always holding on to the southeast, and it's uncertain how much it's going to pull and push in. That low then pushes, there's another low comes in off the Atlantic and sits around Ireland and slides to our south, and that starts bringing easterly winds, and again starts bringing some very warm air. And as we head to the end of the run, we maintain warm, fine, but maybe a bit more stormy conditions, as we do have low pressure to our south. So GFS definitely is showing a very warm run. Yes, there will probably be some rain and perhaps some cooler conditions further north and further west, but generally it's going to be dry and fine. If we have a look at the GM, see how that compares, you can again see very similar pattern over the next few days with those lows trying to push in. On Friday, that low does push in to northern Scotland. You can see it does get into northern Scotland, perhaps even through parts of northern England, perhaps the south just missing out before the high builds in with some very warm air for the weekend, potentially for high 20s or even maybe 30 degrees before a low sweeps through, bringing in some cooler air. But again, always that southeast corner of the UK and southern edge of England, always maintaining that very warm air. So we could see a scenario where it's maybe 15 degrees and raining in Scotland, northern England, and then perhaps warm, humid, 28, 29, 30 degrees in the south. So there could be some very strong temperature gradients. So we really have to keep an eye on this. Again, it's very likely to change the exact positions of these highs, exact positions of these air masses, but it's this sort of pattern that we need to watch out for. Again, it could be symbolic of a few thunderstorms where we do see the collision of some of the low pressure into the warm air, but it really is going to depend on how quickly the breakdown is and how resistant the high pressure is to being moved out the way. So if we have a look at the ECMWF, you can again see very similar pattern over the next few days. Low slides one north, high pressure very much in control next weekend, and even more control than the GM and the ECM and the GFS, with that high centre over the top of the UK, with warm air coming up from the south. Nowhere near as much warm air to the south than there was on the GM. So although it's a similar pattern, or similar general pattern, there's not too much warm air over France compared to the GM. However, as we head to day 10, low pressure out of the Atlantic does sweep through, with its weather fronts bringing in some cooler conditions off the Atlantic, fresher conditions as well. And to be honest, by that time, in 10 days' time, perhaps many people would like a fresher few days, as it's likely, especially probably in England and Wales and the eastern areas, it's going to be quite a hot, humid and dry next sort of week to 10 days. So some thundery breakdown or some cooler conditions coming in from the west probably will be needed. So if we have a look at the GFS ensembles for London, that is well reflected in the ensembles. The next few days, temperatures are hovering a few degrees above average before we do see quite a big climb up to around 10 to 12 degrees at 850 HPA. Not a lot of scatter there, so it's quite certain we're going to be seeing some very warm conditions. You can see precipitation-wise, there are a few spikes here and there, little features trying to move in, like the isolated thunderstorms we've had today. So some areas could see some heavy rain, a few showers, but nothing too persistent and generally quite dry. So next weekend is looking very pleasant indeed. Probably is going to be barbecue weather. So I hope you can make some plans for that. Get outdoors. Enjoy the weather, as it's definitely looking like it's going to be quite a scorcher next weekend, especially in England and Wales. Scotland, it's still more of an unknown, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. After that weekend, heading into the next week as we head towards day 10, you can see that big drop off in ensembles. Now, it's uncertain as we're looking at the 6Z at the moment, but if we go back to midnight run, you can see there's nowhere near as much of a drop-off, a lot more uncertainty. So it's not definitive from the ensemble members, but it's still showing there's a lot of scatter beyond day 10, with the potential for those Atlantic systems to move in. You see in London, not too many rain spikes, so most likely the weather fronts will be fizzling out as they head into that high pressure. So maybe just more cloud, cooler and fresher conditions to keep an eye on. If we look at the 2 meter temperatures, you can see generally over the next sort of 3 or 4 days getting into mid to low 20s in London, 23, 24 degrees. And as we head towards next weekend, the average of the ensemble members is around 25 degrees or so, but some of them are getting up to around 30 degrees, including the 6Z operational run. So really have to keep an eye on what those peak temperatures can be. They can change quite a lot over the next sort of few days, but it's definitely looking like they're going to be upwards of 25 degrees, which is going to feel very warm indeed. If we briefly have a look at, let's say, Glasgow in Scotland, just have a look at what we could be seeing for 850 HPA temperatures. You can see how, even though generally it's going to be quite warm in Glasgow, you can see there is more scatter in the next sort of week or so, as the ensembles are still resolving how much those weather fronts are going to move into the north. So it does look encouraging that the majority are maintaining quite warm conditions, with upper air similar to London and similar to England, maybe a couple degrees cooler, but again, nothing too substantially cooler. But again, there are still maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 ensemble members, 25% or so, still going for the low pressure moving in with some cooler conditions. There are a few precipitation spikes, but nothing too massive again, probably symbolic of some patchy rain coming in off the north or off the westerly wind in Scotland. In the longer term, though, definitely more precipitation spikes, and does look like it's going to be going at least more wet and windy and probably cooler, but nothing too significantly cold in Scotland for sort of the middle to end 3rd of June. At this stage, again, can change quite quickly. If we have a look at the temperature charts and GFS, we'll run through these quite quickly for next week or so. You can see how next week, so Monday, 21, 22 degrees quite widely, maybe only 18, 19 degrees further west though. Tuesday, again, 20, 21 degrees, maybe 23 degrees in some spots. Wednesday, again, feeling warm, perhaps a touch warmer, 23, 24, but more widely, 20 degrees or so. And then Thursday, feeling very warm indeed, widely 21, 22, 23. And then Friday, as we do get the even warmer upper airs coming in, maybe 25, 26 in the southeast. feeling very warm, maybe even 27 degrees in the evening as well. Saturday feeling even warmer, maybe 26, 27 degrees quite widely. Again, 24, 25 degrees again, quite variable on this GFS chart, but again, I suspect it will be more widely mid to low 20s. And then again, Sunday, feeling very pleasant, 23, 24, 25 degrees quite widely, and again, localized 26, 27, or 28 degrees, so feeling very warm indeed. If we have a look at the GM, so Monday, feeling very warm, 22, 23 quite widely, a bit warmer than the GFS. Tuesday, maybe 24, 25 degrees in the east, but again, widely 20 degrees. And as we head into Wednesday, still quite cold in the west though, overnight. Still need to keep an eye on that. So chilly in the mornings, but generally quite warm in the day. So through Wednesday, 27 or 28 degrees in the east, and widely 23, 24 degrees. And then again, Scotland over the mountains, maybe 13, 14 degrees, but where we get the Föhn effect as the air descends off the mountains, maybe getting into the low 20s, and then quite widely feeling very pleasant indeed. Through Thursday, again, quite widely 25, 26 degrees in England, and even parts of Wales, and again 23, 24 degrees, again even for many other areas through Thursday. And then Friday, as we head into the weekend, feeling a bit cooler on the GM as we do see those weather fronts heading into Scotland, and then Saturday, warming up a little bit again, before Sunday getting really hot indeed. So again, GM just showing you what the influence of those weather fronts trying to push in, and those cooler upper airs coming in off the Atlantic just means in the north would be cooler with more rain, but further southwards temperatures really would be suppressed to around 20, 21 degrees or so. But Sunday, definitely in the GM, is showing you what we could see if we do hang on to those very warm upper air temperatures. 27, 28, maybe 29 degrees quite widely in England and Wales, and even in Scotland and Ireland as well, seeing some very high temperatures. And if we briefly look at Monday, again, even more widespread, 28, 29 degrees or so. Feeling very warm indeed. So the GM showing some very warm Sunday and Monday next weekend. So scorcher temperatures next weekend. So we have to really keep an eye on, though, on what's going to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in terms of how much those weather fronts are going to influence us. As you can see there again, if they do influence, perhaps temperatures will be a bit lower. If they don't, that's where we could see those very high temperatures indeed. So if we run through the icon run, see what that shows. Again, Monday feeling warm, 20, 21 degrees or so. Tuesday again warm, 23, 24 degrees, maybe a bit warmer in a few areas. Again, Wednesday feeling warm, and once again Thursday quite widely, 25, 26. And Friday again feeling very warm indeed. So icon again showing very warm conditions. So next weekend, bookmark that as the potential for sort of barbecue conditions. Again, we'll have to wait another maybe 1 or 2 days just to confirm whether those weather fronts are going to make inroads into England, Wales, and Scotland. Again, at this stage, it does look unlikely, but again, I don't really want to make any promises of mid to high 20 degrees quite widely for just to not come off in the next few days or so in the models. So just really stay tuned for that. But it's definitely looking like some very warm conditions are to come. If we briefly have a look at the live radar, if we just quickly refresh it, you can see how there are a few isolated thunderstorms around at the moment. Parts of like Herefordshire, parts of eastern Wales, into southern England, and southwestern parts, and there's a few thunderstorms exiting sort of East Anglia and northeast. Again, they've been quite isolated, and if we run back a few hours, you can see again those exiting of the northeast, and they have been quite slow moving and stagnant. They are under high pressure, so it does mean there's quite light winds, but there is a little bit of instability, which is why they have formed in quite isolated locations. So if you do catch one of these, it could be quite intense under it, and maybe some frequent lightning and some heavy rain as well. So it could happen over the next few days, but again, it's very difficult to forecast isolated thunderstorms like this, as they have no real trigger. It's just really going to have to watch sort of the radar to see where they do pop up. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that over the next few days, if any other thunderstorm risks do pop up. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.